Hello everyone and welcome to our presentation on California's Physical Therapy Electromyography Certification. My name is Zachary Edgar and my company is called Therapy Comply. Therapy Comply is a membership-based compliance education and consulting firm specializing in physical, occupational, and speech therapy. We offer regularly scheduled live, full-length continuing education courses, and we have a large library of recorded compliance and clinical courses. The website contains guides, sample forms, and policies on Medicare, TRICARE, HIPAA, NCCI, OSHA, and other important federal laws. We are working on PT, OT, and SLP compliance guides for all 50 states, along with therapy-related information on Medicaid, workers' compensation, home health, facilities, early intervention, school-based services, and other relevant state laws. We offer ongoing and comprehensive support for our members, which means that members can email us with any therapy, compliance, or billing questions for no additional cost. We also offer credentialing services, claims appeals, and billing support, compliance audits, and more. This presentation is for informational purposes only. None of the material is intended as legal advice. Statutes and regulations are all subject to change. Now for some important definitions. Electroneuromyography is the performance of tissue penetration for the purpose of evaluating neuromuscular performance and includes the evaluation of specific abnormal potentials and evoked responses. Kinesiological electromyography is the study, including tissue penetration, of the phasic activity of individual or multiple muscles in relation to another physical or physiological event or exercise. It does not include the evaluation of specific abnormal potentials or evoked responses. So specific certification is required. A physical therapist may not perform tissue penetration for the purpose of making an electromyographical evaluation unless he or she is certified by the board to perform such tests or such practice is appropriately supervised in order to meet the experience requirements for examination by the Board of Certification. A physical therapist who is certified to perform kinesiological electromyography may not perform electroneuromyographical evaluations without additional authorization from the board as indicated on their certification. A physical therapist who is certified to perform electroneuromyographical evaluations may not perform kinesiological electromyography without additional authorization from the board as indicated on their certification. All applications for certification by the board in electromyography must be on the form provided by the board, which is accompanied by the required documentation and a fee. And that application can be found on the California Board of Physical Therapy's website. So for kinesiological electromyography, must first be licensed as a physical therapist in California. Then provide evidence of training under a licensed physician or physical therapist certified to perform electromyography in tissue penetration for the purpose of evaluation of muscular or neuromuscular performance, which shall include instruction and demonstrations in pertinent anatomy and physiology, choice of equipment, proper technique, hazards and complications, post-test care, and satisfactory performance by the trainee and the technical skills of tissue penetration. So for education, you're going to need the completion of regular or extension coursework pertinent to electromyography and may be obtained in a public university or state college or in a private post-secondary educational institution which is accredited or approved for which academic credit is awarded or for continuing education coursework. The curriculum vitae of the instructor, course outline, course objectives, and evaluation mechanism of any extension or continuing education coursework which is presented by the applicant as meeting the requirements of the section shall be forwarded to the board upon request. Coursework must include instruction in the following subjects: gross anatomy, the muscular system of the body with emphasis on the structural and cross-sectional relationships; neuroanatomy, organization and function features of the central and peripheral nervous system; nerve and muscle physiology; bioelectric currents and their characteristic waveforms and conduction over peripheral nerves. Self-study, completion of a period of self-study which prepares the applicant to pass an examination for certification in kinesiological electromyography. Evidence and documentation must include a summarization of what matters were contained in the self-study, including the applicant's clinical exposure to electromyography and any material studied on that subject, and the names and statements of any proctors who may have supervised the applicant in electromyography. You must also provide evidence of the following experience requirements: completion of at least 200 hours in kinesiological electromyography, which provides a progressive level of training under a physical therapist already certified in electromyography in California or another state with similar requirements for certification, or under a licensed physician who is similarly qualified to perform electromyography as part of their practice of medicine who is approved by the board. And documentation of completion of 50 kinesiological electromyographic examinations. And now for electroneuromyography authorization. So in addition to the kinesiological electromyography coursework, completion of the following additional coursework which meets the requirements in the following subject areas: neuroanatomy, which also emphasizes the course of peripheral nerves and patterns in innervation; clinical neurology, myology, and pathology, identification of clinical characteristics of neurogenic and myogenic disorders; physical science of electroneuromyography, basic electrophysiology, and the identification and recording of bioelectric signals; clinical science of electroneuromyography, knowledge and procedures of patient evaluation examination, including electromyographic and nerve conduction velocity studies, and training in tissue penetration. Completion of a period of self-study, which prepares the applicant to pass a supplemental examination for additional certification to perform electroneuromyographical examinations. Evidence and documentation shall include a summarization of what matters were contained in the self-study, including the applicant's clinical exposure to electroneuromyography and any material studied on that subject, and the name and statements of any proctors who may have supervised the applicant, or authorization to perform electroneuromyographical examinations issued by another state with similar requirements. So for experience, you're going to need to complete at least 400 hours in electroneuromyography, satisfactory to the board, which provides a progressive level of training under a physical therapist authorized to perform electroneuromyography in California, or under a licensed physical therapist in another state with similar requirements for certification, who is authorized to perform electroneuromyography or is certified by the American Board of Physical Therapy Specialists as an electrophysiological clinical specialist, or under a licensed physician who is similarly qualified to perform and who performs electromyography as part of his or her practice of medicine. Documentation of completion of 200 electroneuromyographic examinations. All physical therapists applying for certification to perform kinesiological electromyography shall take and pass the examination, which will be administered by the board. And same goes for the electroneuromyographical certification. You'll also need to take and pass the examination from the board. So you do need to renew the certification. So when all certificates to perform electromyography shall be renewed concurrently with each holder's physical therapist license. So on your electromyography reports, the findings reported to the patient's physician shall include the following statement. So this is a set statement by the Board of Physical Therapy. So you're going to want to cut and paste this and put that on any reports that you're going to forward on to the patient's physician. So remember, that's an important thing to have on each one of those reports. So it is considered unprofessional conduct and a violation of the rules for a physical therapist certified to perform kinesiological electromyography only to perform electroneuromyography without additional authorization obtained from the board, unless such practice is appropriately supervised in order to meet the experience requirements for examination by the board or for such additional authorization. Thank you for joining today's presentation. Please visit us at therapycomply.com. We have a lot more information on the California Board's rules for physical therapy and other relevant state laws. Thank you, and please like and subscribe and stay tuned for more videos.